Good day! Ngayon ay matututunan natin ang laws of exponents, particularly adding, subtracting, and multiplying exponents. So, itong unang tatlo lang ang matatakil natin sa video na to. Pero don't worry, sa mga susunod na video, madadaanan natin lahat. Pero, feel free to pause the video, take a screenshot, or take down notes dahil lahat ng nandito sa screen ay importante at magagamit sa mga susunod na videos. First, we have here a raised to m times a raised to n is equal to a raised to m plus n. Paano ito nangyari? Well, let's have a recap first kung ano ang exponents, no? So, let's have here, let's say meron kang b and raised to something like x. So, this here, yung b mo ay tinatawag nating base and your x here is actually called the exponent. And you can expand this term or this expression as something like this. B times B times B times B times dot 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 times B times B. Ilang B ang kailangan? Well, it depends kung ano ang exponent mo. So this will be repeated x times. Halimbawa, meron kang B raised to, sabihin natin, 7. So this is equal to B times B times B times B times B times B times B. 7 B na imumultiply mo. E paano naman kung meron kang B raised to 100? Simple lang. Multiply mo B times B times B times B times dot 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 times B times B as long as ito ay 100 terms o 100B. This here is equal dito. So we have our quick recap. Paliitin ko lang to para hindi siya mawala sa ating screen. Okay? And we will use this property mamaya, no? Sa pagpapaliwanag. This here, mahirap siyang imaginein as is kasi letters lang eh. Pero let's try to represent numbers. Let's say ang m natin ay equal sa 5 and then ang n natin ay equal sa 3. So we will have here a raised to 5 times a raised to 3. Diba? So first, para hindi tayo mabilis, let us express the expressions dito. Itong a raised to 5 and a raised to 3 separately. And isa-separate ko sila using parentheses. So, itong blue, this will represent the a raised to 5. Lagyan natin yan dyan. And this here, the orange one, will represent a raised to 3. And of course, the multiplication symbol. So we have here a raised to 5. So 5 a na imumultiply. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then dito naman tatlo. 1, 2, 3. Kung mapapansin natin at i-ignore natin yung parenthesis, it is like multiplying a 5 and 3 times. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. And imumultiply mo rin sila. So you have 8 terms in total. So if you have here a raised to 8, we know that 8 here is equal to 5 plus 3. Therefore, a raised to 5 times a raised to 3 is equal to a raised to 5 plus 3 kasi yun yung bilang ng a nung in-expand natin sila. And this will be equal to a raised to 8. Another example, let's have x raised to, sabihin natin 4. Then, multiply natin siya sa x raised to 2. So, isa-separate natin para makita natin yung expression. nung dalawa, no? So, we have here, this corresponds to this, and this corresponds to this. Pero sa pag gumagawa na kayo ng solution, you don't need to do this exactly. Pinapakita ko lang sa inyo kung ano yung nire-represent ng x raised to 4 pag in-expand siya and ano yung itsura ng x raised to 2 pag in-expand siya. So, x raised to 4. So, 4 na x multiplied sa sarili niya. That's it. Then, multiplied by x raised to 2. So, x times x. Ilang x ang imumultiply natin ngayon? Lahat-lahat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. And 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. Therefore, this is x raised to 6. Ngayon, generalizing, gagamit tayo ngayon ng letters para ma-represent natin yung numbers. So, we have here, kung meron kang a raised to m times, so we are already generalizing, no? A raised to n, where m and n are any numbers, no? So, this is equal to, parenthesis natin, no? Yung parenthesis, huwag kakalimutan. Ayan. So, we have here a times a times a dot 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 times a. Hindi natin alam kasi m yan eh, no? Hindi naman siya talagang number, kumbaga. And same here. A times dot 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 times a. Pero alam natin na since m yan, this is m. Kumbaga, kung bibilangin natin yan lahat, mag-a-arrive tayo sa m. Mabibilang natin siya as m times na minultiply. No? Thinking of it as a number. So, we have here n. And tulad ng ginawa natin, observe, 5, 3 is equal to 8. 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. Ito, 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. So, we have here, pag pinlas natin yan, m plus n, since hindi naman natin siya masimplify, hindi naman sila parehong numbers, so we can express this as is, na m plus n as the exponent. Therefore, mag-a-arrive ka sa sagot na a raised to m plus n. Next naman natin, a raised to m over a raised to n is equal to a raised to m minus n. So, katulad ng ginawa natin sa first, let's express m and n as numbers. So, let's say we have 5. No? And we have a raised to 3. And with that, i-expand natin sila. Kailangan natin silang i-expand. Kailangan ko ring ayusin. Yan. Okay. Nalagyan na natin, expand na natin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have here 1, 2, 3. Since alam natin na meron silang common factor, pwede natin itong tanggalin. No, gamit tayo ng pula para visible yung matatanggal natin. So, ito, tanggal dito. Pareho silang A, matatanggal sila. Ito, tanggal sila. And natira lang tong dalawa. So, this here can be expressed as a raised to 2. And 2 is equal to 5 minus 3. Mapapansin nyo, 5 minus 3 is actually equal to 2. And let's have another example. Let's have x raised to, sabihin natin 7 over x raised to, sabihin natin 3. Ay, wag 3. May nagamit na natin yung 3. Sabihin natin, 2. Expand natin parehong terms. So, we have x times x times x times x times x times x. Ilan pa? Isa pa. X. Yan. Pabahay lang natin ng konti. Hindi pala umabot. Kulang. Yan. And x squared. So, we have x times x. Kunin natin common factor. Cancel natin. Oh, ayan. Cancel, cancel. Ilan na natira? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have x raised to 5. And 5, notice, is equal to 7 minus 2. Diba? So, kung i-generalize natin yan, we will have here a raised to m over a raised to n, and that is equal to a times a times a times dot 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 times a times a. Kung ilan sila, pero alam natin na ito ay m times. And this is a times a times a times dot 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 times a. And this is n times. Palagay ko na nga. This is m times. And this is n times. Siyempre, may mga maka-cancel din dyan. Katulad niyan, katulad niyan. And ang matitira dito, hindi naman natin malalaman yun. Pero ang matitira dito ay yung difference ng m and n. No? So, meaning, ito yon, m minus n. Kaya tayo nag-arrive doon sa property na yon. Lastly, meron tayong quantity of a raised to m raised to n is equal to a raised to m times n. So, paano to nangyari? Let's have a raised to m. Tapos, naka-raise siya sa n. Ngayon, alam natin na ito ay magiging equal sa a raised to m. And, duduplicate ko na lang siya, no? A raised to m times itself, no? A raised to m times 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 a raised to m. Yan. Lagyan lang natin ng konting dot dot dot. Multiply yan, ha? Kasi ito yung dot dot dot. Ngayon, ilan to? Ilang a raised to m ang imumultiply mo? Siyempre, following yung recap natin kanina, this will be multiplied n times. Naipakita na natin kanina na a raised to m times a raised to n is equal to a raised to m plus n. Try natin i-apply yun dito. No? So, meron kang a raised to m times a raised to m times a raised to m. Pansinin lang natin yung exponents. Since multiplication naman to, so we have here the exponents will be something like this. M plus m plus m plus m plus m plus dot dot dot. Diba? Ganyan yung magiging exponent niya. So, ito yung base. Ganyan yung magiging exponent niya. Ngayon, ilan tong m? Kung magtatanong kayo, ilan tong m? Well, ilan ba yung terms? Ilan beses ba siya minultiply? N times. So, itong m, this is also n times. And alam natin, ito ha, ino-note ko to, take note that multiplication is repeated addition. Diba? Tatandaan nyo, sa elementary to, diba? Multiplication is repeated addition. So, if we have, for example, 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, this is equal to 2 times 5. Kasi limang beses siyang inulit. So, we have 2 times 5, which is equal to 10. If we have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, this will be equal to 3 times 4, which is equal to 12. So, kung ilang beses mo inulit itong number na to, yun yung imumultiply mo sa kanya. So, 4 times ko siya inulit. 4 times ko inulit yung 3, so 3 times 4. 5 times ko inulit yung 2, so 2 times 5. Itong expression na to, n times kong inulit yung m. Therefore, this is m times n. Or, kung susundin natin yung format sa algebra, yung pagsulat, this is a raised to mn. Para sa ating challenge, prove that these equations are true. A raised to 1 equals A raised to 0 equals 1, and A raised to negative m equals 1 over A raised to m. Ito ay madidiscuss sa next videos natin tungkol sa laws of exponents. Thank you for listening.